Aqaba city, where we are now. If you look to the left, you will see another small village. This is actually another country called Israel, and this is the city of Eilat or Eilat. And if you just look behind your cruise ship, this is another city called Taba. It's in Egypt. And you see these mountains here? 5 minutes behind these mountains to your right, Saudi Arabia. You know Moses, Prophet Moses? When he came from Egypt, we call it the Exodus. Also, he came from Egypt via via Red Sea, but not this line, the other line, and in between, of course, Sinai Desert. And they wandered in the wilderness 40 years. Means that Red Sea and Aqaba area, or the ports here, or the shore, it was very important in the ancient time until today. Jordan in general, everybody say Jordan, 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 but this is not the official name for the country. The official name for Jordan, the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, originally came from Saudi Arabia. Our royal family, the royal family who are in Jordan now, originally came from Saudi Arabia, and that was just recently, 100 years ago, when they started what we called it the Arab Revolution, and that was exactly 1915. This area occupied by the Ottomans 400 years, from 1515 until 1915. The Hashemite started what we called it Arab Revolution against the Ottomans with help of the British, of course, helped the Arabs, and Jordan became, 1921, Jordan became a British mandate, and it was called Trans-Emirate of Jordan, or Transjordan. It's a small country, only 89,000 kilometers square, Jordan. And of course 7 million people live in Jordan, mostly in middle and north of Jordan. Why? Because middle and north of Jordan, the greenest area in Jordan. 60% of our land desert, only 40% green area, and the greenest area north of Jordan. And now we are taking the next exit to the left, and we will drive via what we called it King's Way. This is a very old road called King's Way. It was connecting the three kingdoms together, Edomite, Moabite, and Ammonite. Now, if you'd like to have a nice photo for the sign, King's Way, we will drive to Petra. We will, of course, drive via the mountains, which is actually very high, around 15 or 1600 meters above the sea level, but still desert, sandy area, no life at all. Of course, under a climate, we call it a desert climate, the rainfall range only 100 millimeter a year. This is why it's not fertile, and it's not a green area. Camels. Imagine if you look to the map of Jordan, in middle of Syria, Iraq, Israel and Palestine. Of course, you hear about the conflict between these two people, and Saudi Arabia. You will never come here. You know, we are in the middle of a hot place, you know, hot area. But Jordan, very secure country. There is a reason for that. The Jordanian government and Jordanian royal family always hold the stick in the middle. We are friends with everybody, so we don't have enemies. As you mentioned, the rocky area, not only because of the in the middle of the trade routes, also for protection. Petra, it's a hidden city. Petra, it's a hidden city. You see nothing from outside. Now, when we come close to Petra, you will start seeing the mountains, but you will not see any facades. So they choose the location for protection, you know, mainly, and because of the location in the middle of the trade routes. Now look to the colors, to the mountains to the left. You will notice that Petra actually has the red or reddish color. Petra from Peter. Petra from, you know, Peter, the name of Peter. And Petra means the rock. Petra means the rock. The Arabic name for Petra, Raqimu, or in Arabic, Raqim.
We are entering the enclave of the Wadi Musa, which is the town just outside of Petra. Petra is an archaeological location which was established by a group of people called the Nabateans approximately 2,000 years ago. Their dominance of Petra lasted about 100 years, somewhere around the birth of Christ. The Romans conquered them, and the distinct culture of the Nabateans disappeared. The Bedouin, the nomads of Jordan, claimed to be descendants of the Nabateans, had occupied Petra for several hundred years in the recent past, and many of them still live close by and are benefiting from the tourism that has become big business there in Wadi Musa. After the Romans left, the area in the early centuries after the birth of Christ, Petra was not again visited by the Western world until 1812, when Johann Burckhardt, who spoke fluent Arabic, was allowed to enter. Petra has been an object of archaeological curiosity ever since, and in the past couple of decades it has become a huge tourist destination and is one of the 7 wonders of the world. To reach Petra, we leave from the edge of Wadi Musa, travel down a stunning narrow gorge called the Seek, the Shaft, a natural geological feature formed from a deep split in the sandstone rocks. Petra, the ancient Nabatean caravan city ideally situated between the Red Sea and the Dead Sea, was inhabited since prehistoric times. This area was an important crossroads between Arabia, Egypt, and Syria, Phoenicia. The Nabateans transformed the forbidding desert into a bustling metropolis with monumental tombs carved directly into the rose-hued sandstone hills, as well as hundreds of other structures including burial chambers, funerary banquet halls, residences, theaters, bath complexes, arched gates, and a complex system of water channels and reservoirs. Camel caravans pass through, loaded with spices, textiles, and incense from distant regions. And through such commerce, the city of Petra flourished until a massive earthquake left the freestanding structures of Petra in ruins. After visiting many of the carved-out sandstone structures, I rode a camel back to the treasury. back through the beautiful sandstone cavern called the Seek, or the Shaft. This ends a very interesting visit to one of the most significant man-made structural complexes on Earth.